Well, hello everybody. This is the Logic Only Zone, and it is time for another philosophy video. I'm going to talk about something that's a little bit controversial. You know, when you're doing philosophy, that means you're thinking about the world and trying to understand it and trying to understand yourself and what it means to live a good life, what it means to be a good person, where is value, what is value. You're going to end up in a place every once in a while, a dark place. And that is, you are looking at the negative things about life, the struggles in life, the difficult things in life. And if you're going to do philosophy, you have to do that because reality and the world is not butterflies and unicorns, ultimately. And to believe that or to think that is going to delude you. You're going to have a false sense of reality. You got to take the good with the bad because the world is created out of both. And to some extent, they're fluid. They're inter-exchanging because for every good thing you have, there's a cost. There's a struggle connected with it. Nothing doesn't have a cost. Everything has a cost. When you have something, it means that you don't have something else, or that something is required for that thing to be. So when you're doing philosophy, you're going to have to come face to face with the darkness of the world and the darkness of the human mind as well. Not only your own mind, but other people's mind. And also the capacity for people to do harm to others or to do bad things to others. Those are things that you can't ignore. And the fact that people do not do philosophy, they're not reflecting on these things, perpetuates them in our reality. So these are the darker things that you have to look at. That's something that's very objective, that's somewhat easier to grasp, but also within all of us is the capacity to do harm to ourselves through substance abuse, through overeating, through addiction, through bad habits, things like this, or harm to others through toying with people's minds, manipulating people, fooling people, things like this. There's a lot of darkness within us and capacity to do harm. And when you look at that, honestly, you look at the things people do to each other, the unfortunate circumstances that people force others into, or the lack of resources for people that cause them to become homeless, or this kind of thing. These are all very dark, very negative things. So I want to encourage people to stare into the abyss. When you stare into the abyss, it stares back. But if you're going to do philosophy, you're going to have to go to the dirge. You're going to have to go to the dark place. You're going to have to stare into the abyss. You're going to have to understand the negative side of reality in life. And if you don't understand that, then you're going to be prey to it because you're not going to recognize it when you see it. You're not going to see it in yourself, not just others. And without noticing it, there's no opportunity for those things to be repaired, to fix them, to control them within yourself, and to encourage others to do so and illuminate that knowledge about our capacities as human beings. If we just pretend life is marshmallows and chocolate pudding without knowing, and even those things are bad because they're going to lead to bad health, right? So, so if you don't understand that stuff, if you don't really try to understand the world and the things that are bad and the things that are good, and really have a full image, a full painting within your mind about what all these things are, then, not only are those three things that I just mentioned an issue, but also you're not going to be able to work in the world. You're not going to be able to function because you're not going to understand what's going on when you're around other people, or understand the purpose of the structures or the systems that they're conducting or have constructed for human purposes, where all of these aspects of what it is to be human are incorporated and involved in that whole process. And so you're essentially not going to be able to live your life you're going to be living like a child that knows nothing about the world, or very minimal, or just what their mom and dad told them kind of mentality. So what it means to be an adult, to grow up, to live, and to participate in society is to truly understand these things. And not only that, but to be the best person that you can, to know what virtue and goodness is, you must know what the very opposite of that is, and the cost of either or, and the consequences, the results of participating in either of these sort of perspectives of reality. I see people struggling with being a good person. They have some bad qualities or bad habits, or problematic thinking where it affects the relationships that they have. But because they don't understand what's really going on in them, that those things are there, they come up with some kind of rationalization or some kind of reason why that, in this case, these behaviors are correct, where they're never correct. If you know what's bad, then you can conduct yourself good. You can listen to people. You can talk things out. You don't have to name call or fight anybody, or this or that, by your wisdom of what is good and bad. So the cost, of course, for knowing what is good is to know what is bad, which means you're not going to be able to believe in unicorns and sugar plum fairies anymore. You're going to have to incorporate the darkness, the abyss, into your core, in terms of your knowing of it. And so in your life, you're going to see things that are negative, that create bad results. And you're going to have to accept that, see that, know that, and not allow it to affect you in your desire for what is good, what creates good results. And accept that as something that may, in many cases, be outside of your control. But in knowing that that's going on, you can avoid it. You might be able to do something to change the direction of it, or something like this. So at least it empowers you as a person because you know it. And in you knowing it, at least you can be a good example in certain ways that might cause that to, have less consequences, not only on you, but maybe also, other people. And so this is actually something I've been thinking about, because I've been watching Amendum and Gary quite a bit when he posts videos, his WTF series. And, it's the whole thing where, people are quick to spill the milk, but they don't want to clean it up. People, create all these problems. They're, in our country where there's supposedly so much wealth, there's no reason why anybody should be homeless. Things like this that are unimaginable and, just essentially horrible. Living on the streets and getting beaten up and things like that. That's not good for anybody. And so, anyway, that's why you need to know these things, so you can avoid the bad. And when somebody tries to strike you down, you know what you're experiencing and seeing. And you can think pragmatically, you can think rationally, you can think critically about it, and take it as it is, accept it, and then in your knowing of what is happening, you can respond accordingly. And you can even prevent, and in that way, it's almost like a magic shield. It's like a magic shield where, I know that, and you can avoid it. So, think of it like if you're a martial artist and you don't know anything about the other styles, when you go to fight somebody and you're a boxer and you go to fight somebody, you're like, I'm a boxer, it's what I know, I'm a boxer. And you go to fight somebody and they kick you in the face, you're like, what the hell was that? I just got kicked in the face? I didn't know you could kick people in the face. So that's why you study everything. You study all of the martial arts. You study all the different styles. You study the way that the world really is in terms of what the human body can do. And then that makes you a superior fighter, not saying this all has to be, fighting against people or anything like that, but you get the idea. It's important to know the bad things in life, the bad behaviors, the bad events and actions and the negativities of life. Because if you don't understand that, no matter how, and that's the cost you pay, that it's not fun. It's not fun to know that there's a ton of suck in the world. There's a ton of suck. And you're going to want to tell everyone, oh my gosh, do you know about all this suck? All this suck in the world? You're going to want to do that. And if other people haven't done the same thing as you, they're not going to want to hear what you have to say because it's not fun. So you're not going to be able to talk to anybody about it. And if you talk to people about it and they're your close friend and they're listening, it might be disheartening for them because once you go on your journey here where you're really trying to get that full picture, it's a real commitment. It's going to take you years to really understand what's happening in the world. It's going to take a lot of direct experience with people in doing things in society. And you just have to be ready for that, really thinking critically about people and behavior and systems and structure and trying to understand all of this. But you have to be committed to it because if you don't, you're going to get kicked in the face by the kung fu guy and you're just a boxer. So it's ultimately a choice you have to make to incorporate the darkness of the world into your knowing, which is not fun, but you have no choice or you're going to get kicked in the face. And that's it for today, guys. I think this is a good one to upload, so I hope you guys enjoy it. And I'm going to make a BitChute account as well, and I'll start linking that in the description as well. So, logic on his own out. Peace out.